What is going on YouTube? This is Jim back with another video, and today I want to talk more about E3 because the floor plan has finally been revealed. Now, you can't wipe this grin off my face because I just got done spending a day in MegaCon here in Orlando with my bestie Brent and his son Noah. We had an absolute blast. I got to meet Steve and Amel, and I got my picture taken with him. I got some really cool Master Chief art. You're probably asking yourself, well, why are you telling me all this? Well, it's because conventions for me just mean so much. And I love being around people who are into the things I am into. And just that positive energy and those vibes. I am one of those people, if you've ever taken those personality tests, where I am an E100. That means I am the most extroverted person possible. And I love meeting people, and I love just harnessing that energy and spending time with others. And I really, really like that. So, with that said, I'm super excited to get to go to E3 this year. My wife and I won tickets to Xbox Fan Fest, so I'm sure I'm going to make tons of new friends there. And seeing the E3 floor plans does a couple things. One, it reminds me of the bittersweet E3 I had in 2017, where I got to go to the Fan Fest and my wife didn't. But the ultimate experience of just getting to go to E3 and going to the Bethesda party with her and having an absolute blast and making the most of it. So here's a facility overview. I'm going to start with the South Hall first. Microsoft is not going to be there this year. They're going to be at Microsoft City across the street. Sony has already announced they're not going to be there. Activision is not going to be there. EA not going to be there. And you're probably thinking, well, geez, E3 is dead. And if you need any remembrance of that, you can watch every year when I do an E3 video and I talk about how E3 is definitely not dead. So let's take a look at some of the exhibits this year. I'm not going to get into some of my predictions just yet, but I'm going to point out a few things that I think are very interesting. So the South Hall this year, Square Enix has a very, very large presence. Ubisoft, Capcom, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, THQ Nordic, and Epic Games, and 2K. There's a lot of ands in there, isn't there? You have a lot of ancillary stuff around on the perimeter. This is pretty similar to what I remember seeing in the past. A lot of these companies either I hadn't heard of or they weren't necessarily big enough to kind of garnish a full booth on their own. But companies like AIM Controllers, I do remember seeing them last year. I actually bought a couple controller mounts from them. And some of these other smaller ones, some of these are not necessarily companies in terms that are making new games. Sometimes, like I said, the AIM controller, for example, they're selling peripherals, gaming chairs, mice, keyboards. Sometimes they're just showing off some development tech they have, maybe source engines or some kind of game codes or new ways of looking, display monitors, that sort of thing. So I'm excited for this. I think I will easily spend over a day in the South Hall. Now, when we went last year, because of the time constraints that we had with Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo being there, we didn't really get to spend a ton of time at all places. I think we probably spent the most time at Nintendo Land. So I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time with Bethesda and a lot of time with Ubisoft. I am really hopeful we get to see a Splinter Cell game. I know Ubisoft had a little reward system last year, as if you play more games, you can cash that in for points to redeem some actual loot, posters and figurines and that sort of thing. So hopefully they have that, and my wife and I could spend some time there. So that's the South Hall. Permanent meeting rooms, unfortunately, I'm not going to get to spend any time here. This is where all the real deals go down. So you have some Ubisoft rooms here. This is where you hear the infamous behind closed doors meetings. You see all the different companies that are here. There's a couple little open areas here. GameSpot's got an area here. Nvidia's got a little area here. A Rebellion, I'm not really sure who they are. And there's some other little small stuff. Konami will be there. I don't know what they're going to be showing off. But this will just be the pass-through area for all the fancy people. I don't matter that much. I'm going to be spending more of my time at FanFest, where I'm going to feel included, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. Over at the West lobby, things have changed considerably because of the absence, as I mentioned before, of Nintendo. I'm sorry, Nintendo is there, of PlayStation and of Xbox. So I'm going to get all my Xbox time in at the FanFest VIP thing Monday night. So I'm not going to have to go there during E3 proper. So I'll get to spend a lot of time here. you have some pretty big hitters. You have Nintendo of America, you have Sega, you have Oculus, you have GameSpot, another GameSpot booth, which I thought was kind of interesting. The Unreal Garden, I have no idea what this is. I can only imagine, since Unreal is so popular now in terms of the Epic Games Store, this is probably some sort of indie area where they're going to show off a lot of indie titles using the Unreal Engine, and I think that could be awesome. One of my most fondest memories of E3 by far was going to see Moss with my wife, the VR experience, and we must have spent 30 minutes talking to the developers of that game, and it was really cool to get to talk with them a little bit and to just hear their hopes and dreams and just understand their passion for the game, and then go home and buy the game and play it and really enjoy it because of talking with those creators. I love Aero, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I love conferences. Getting to meet Stephen Amell, even though it was very, very brief, and just standing next to him for probably no more than 5 seconds, taking a photo and leaving, makes me love this show even more, just because I got to see the guy and he was just such a nice person, the little bit I got to interact with him. And I love that they have these little booths and these little environments where you get to sit and talk with the developers and you get to see their passion. It's like, I made this. And I talked about FanFest a year ago, where when I went 2 years ago, where I yelled at the Ubisoft guy when they were showing off Origins. But anyways, it was just a lot of fun. Even yelling at the guy, he took it in stride, and I was right. So yeah, there's some other stuff here: competitive game area, E3 Sports Zone. I know a lot of people are probably looking at this going, Jim, this is filler now. Why don't we have all the big stuff? But I'll tell you what, this is going to be an amazing, amazing event. I can't wait to see what happens next. So there you guys have it. Just a quick overview. There's also the EA Coliseum at EA Live, hosted by Jeff Keighley. I don't know who's been announced at that, but this might be a good opportunity to go over and check that out. One of the big things as a just nobody going to E3 is I didn't get all these VIP things. I had to wait in line to play Destiny 2 for, 2.5 hours with my wife. We didn't have a ton of time to go off and see some of these other ancillary things. So maybe the fact that PlayStation has pulled out this year, sad as I am that they're not going to be there, and getting all the Microsoft stuff out of the way, maybe there's a good chance we're going to go over and check out the Coliseum and sit down and listen to a really good interview or a really good game demo or something like that. So this is my love letter to E3. This is my love letter to the fact that E3 is not dead, and I am extremely excited to be part of this again this year. So excited to be part of FanFest. As I mentioned in my previous video, this video, and pretty much every video now until we leave, I'm going to be talking a lot about E3. This is definitely E3 season. All the hopes and dreams of E3 are definitely starting to come into fruition, and as more and more developers start to tease of what they're working on, like the Ubisoft reveal and some these other companies coming along saying, hey, we have something we want to show you. It only makes this event even more exciting. And seeing it now in the flesh and looking at the map and thinking about what could they possibly put in these areas really does get me excited, and just being back in that environment. So hope you guys enjoyed this quick walkthrough of the E3 floor plan, my excitement for E3, and definitely continuing a segue of my videos transitioning more into gaming predictions and news and stuff like that. So expect more from me in the coming weeks to really just get through and chew it all out. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about E3, your hopes and dreams. We'll be covering all that here very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.